All right, so finally, man, cheers.
Cheers.
It's episode one. Episode one, we made it.
We're here.
Kaleidospoke, finally on the road. And it's probably about time that people got to know about our massively insightful thoughts on the world events and everything that the modern adult faces in this day, right? Do you think?
Sorry, you cut out.
Oh,
Capitulation.
No,
You just came back.
Keep it. It's
think?
great.
Oh, wow.
Keep it. It's great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So look. Just for some background. Wait. Let's start again.
You don't need to. Cut.
All right, fine. Well, just for some background, right? So look, how long have we been friends? Maybe 15 years? 15 years or so, something like that.
Yeah. I trust your numbers.
Yeah, you got to trust my numbers, man. And I think I think after our trip to Colombia, it really our relationship kind of developed, and since then we've been involved in a couple of business ventures together. We ran a half marathon. Our kids know each other.
Yeah.
But I think at the core of our relationship, we've always had these kind of like conversations about philosophy and life and purpose, and I think that's probably the glue between us, man. So
great minds.
Yeah, great minds. They've come together and they've produced this, whatever this may be.
Kaleidospoke.
So I think
tell your friends.
Tell everyone, all across the globe, even if they don't speak English, we'll get it translated. Don't worry. So I think the way we intend to do this is to probably reason over 3 or 4 subjects, whether they be current events, relationship stuff, business, or maybe even dystopian apocalyptic realities. Whatever.
We're all heading for that.
Well, we might already be there, my friend. So these conversations are even more important, because these are the conversations that might get left in a time capsule somewhere.
Preach.
So yeah, man. I mean, literally, we could just go from there. And again, bro, cheers. Episode one. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Let's get this thing popping, man. For sure.
How does it work then?
So I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking. Do you remember when we were doing Coach Inc? Our t-shirt idea. And we would do our weekly meetings in the Hoxton.
Yes.
Do you remember that? Yeah. And we'd be coming up with all these kind of t-shirt kind of gimmicks, and I think I had one which is cringe when I think about it. I had one called Lituation, right? And I don't know if you remember.
I think I raised that from my memory. Like
it wasn't good. And I don't know if you remember, but there was two ladies sitting across from us, right? And one of those ladies, they laughed. They kind of laughed. They were like, and we said, okay, what do you think about Lituation? And she was like, oh, that's like so 2000 and whatever.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, then, what do you know? Like what's going on? What's the truth? And that was actually the first time, I think, at least for me, that was the first time I heard about Triller. Do you remember?
I don't quite remember. Actually, maybe I do, but I'm not. But just for context, so we were trying to think of t-shirts with the latest urban kind of slang or some sort of phrase or something like that. And we was designing t-shirts with the latest and greatest from the culture. Like, basically, that was the idea. And so when we was coming together and trying to brainstorm the things that we probably are not in anymore, given that we're in our 30s. We was grasping at straws and trying to be call with the kids, and it turned out we were sitting next to two probably 5 years younger than us. I don't know, cooler kids than us perhaps, and they had a bit more insight.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, but she said she worked in media, right? It was an Asian girl, and you know, we were like, okay, so you know, we've heard that TikTok is the new latest thing. Probably by this time, TikTok must have been going for at least 2 years. You know, we were properly late on the bandwagon, and and then she mentions Triller. Now, obviously, the reason I'm bringing up Triller is because you know, a couple of weeks back, that Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fight was on, and Triller hosted it. Yeah, so that was the platform in which it kind of came on, and what I found so interesting. So I watched the fight, right, and it was a good fight actually. Mike Tyson won clearly, but it was a good fight.
I'm surprised. I mean, I thought Mike Tyson was going to knock someone out because he's you know, but Roy Jones has done very well to kind of hold him back and kind of dance around him.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And you know, like these guys aren't young. They're not young. I mean, I'm not that age, and I don't fancy doing that. But what was really interesting, I found, was between the fights, artists would basically perform, like they'd do their little PA, and there was like a fake crowd noise and all sorts, and it was almost as if this could be a concert, you know, kind of like a platform for concerts where people weren't allowed to go to concerts. So you know, it kind of floated the idea that maybe, you know, in the near future, especially now that we're facing this COVID thing, and artists are suffering. You know, they can't make money on the road.
Yeah,
it kind of seemed as if maybe this could be a route for them. You know, like they might be on platforms like this where there's a kind of fake crowd and people tune in, they pay to tune in and watch these guys, you know, perform their best hits. And it was really interesting, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how it was in this arena, but imagine like you just have all these live streaming faces, like basically FaceTime. You got like 1,000, instead of 1,000 seats, you got like 1,000 different screens and faces in the crowd, just digitally, just and just showing their face and watching it like it's a proper virtual audience. Do you know what I mean? Like Zoom on steroids. But I think it's crazy. I think you can only imagine that, you know, the likes of Facebook and Instagram or even TikTok would do a similar thing and try to corner a big event or host a big event on their app, and just you know, it moves from Sky Sports to IG Sports or something like that.
I mean, you can definitely see, you know, there's a word that we'll probably talk about a little bit later, but you can definitely see like the decentralization of media right now. You know, like it's almost as if like the old guys who were the Sky Sports and with the BBCs, you know, they're clutching at straws to try and keep up with this kind of new internet YouTube generation that are definitely they're in tune with what's going on. Throughout the pandemic, they've been able to kind of capitalize and, you know, keep great momentum going for people that still want to be into their sports and into their events. So
I don't think they didn't televise the fight on the app, did they? It was I think there was like a lot of pre-fight exclusives, maybe post-fight exclusives, and some other bits, and they definitely sponsored it. Like I think the Triller logo was in the ring, but the actual fight itself, I don't know if it actually was screened or streamed exclusively on Triller.
I don't think it was exclusively on Triller, but I think you're right in the sense that, you know, I think the Triller platform was potentially used to leverage the event. You know, I don't think it was exclusive to Triller, but that was the main name. You know, that was the main name behind everything. You didn't see like a kind of a Triller YouTube collaboration or a Triller Sky Sports collaboration. Triller was all over it. So, you know, at the end of the day, when you're watching it, it was clear that this was a Triller event. So, you know, whether or not they exclusively streamed it on their platform is
their banners all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's their thing. And you know, it was the concerts in between the fights that were uh, interesting to me because
Right.
it wasn't a concert. Sorry, the PAs. Um, it just seemed as if actually, if this went on for an hour and this artist performed, I'm not sure how much they would make compared to what they would make in real life crowds,
Mm,
but for sure they would make more money than they are now when they're just sitting down, not being able to perform.
mm,
So it seemed as if actually maybe going forward we might see these types of concerts come through platforms like Triller, and you know, then I guess if that's the new way for these types of events, you'll see a ton of attention towards Triller. You see Triller kind of being probably a bit more mainstream than it is now.
yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, also, I mean, similar thing on like these game apps. I think was it Fortnite? They had like Marshmallow concert on Roblox that little kids are into these days. They had like I think as a Little Nas concert or something like that. So yeah, more and more these things are happening, and I think it might just be accelerated due to all the craziness that's happened this year and people wanting to wash their hands 50 times a day, and and social distance. So yeah,
Yeah,
future's bright,
yeah,
future's
it
virtual.
is. It is. Virtual, but it's the virtual world. And finally, you mentioned Fortnite because I don't know if you remember, we had a little Fortnite time, didn't we?
Oh yeah,
Sometimes we like to unwind playing Fortnite
Fortnite.
as grown parents.
Fortnite's a winner. Fortnite's a winner.
It's a, it's a winner,
It's a winner.
but I think Travis Scott, I think he did a concert of
Oh, that's right.
Fortnite,
Yeah,
and it was pretty
yeah,
big. So you can see, and look, man. Sometimes in real world events, there's a limit to space. Depending on the artist, there's an age limit as to who can go
mm,
there. But through things like Fortnite or the internet, you're not bound by those type of
yeah.
limitations. So you can definitely see, like, actually, man, this is kind of the future, and Fortnite's great. I'm behind Fortnite. I don't care what people think about Fortnite. I love it. I don't
Fortnite's
care.
great because you can just pick it up and play, and just you don't need to go through the missions. Well, I don't go through the missions. You just pick up a play and start shooting up. It's like
Yeah,
there's no hassle
yeah. Or more like,
or get shot.
get shot.
Yeah,
That. Yeah, that's
pretend to
that's kind
build,
of that's kind of what we
pretend
do.
to build nothing of substance,
Feel nothing.
and then get shot. And then if you're playing a duo, you're like, oh help! Can you just bring me up to life? I'm crawling behind a tree.
Actually, after this, maybe we should have a go at Fortnite.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So again, and back to the fight. There was you've got these kind of these new wave of YouTube boxers. So Jake Paul was on there, and he managed to flatline Nate Robinson, who is a former NBA player. I think he's former.
Oh no,
Anyway,
I didn't see
flatline the
that.
guy. Yeah, flat. When I mean, bro, flatline the guy, and ever since
Oh,
then, the guy's been ridiculed
oh
all over
no,
social media.
oh
It's
man.
it's so sad because to step in a ring, look, man, I don't do that for a living. I have no intention of getting my face boxed in for fun. It's not worth it. There's no money. There's no money you can give me. I mean, you can give me a bit, but so, and this guy's been ridiculed. But again, what's interesting, and Mike Tyson actually said it in his post-fight interview. Um, he said that actually boxing. He said this was his words, not necessarily
Mm,
mine. He said that there's elements of boxing it's a dying sport,
mm,
especially versus like the UFC, which has come on leaps and bounds,
mm,
and I love
mm,
UFC, and he said almost like these YouTube boxers, so Jake Paul, KSI, these guys have kind of infused new blood into
mm.
boxing, and has kind of got the young people watching boxing, like the 13, 15-year-olds that watch the KSI videos. They also know he's a boxer and he's got some problems with Logan Paul, and then they go and fight in the
Yeah, yeah,
ring,
yeah.
and actually it brings a ton of attention to the sport.
That's true.
You know, so again, like this was quite a big event. You know, there's quite a lot of like milestones that were hit in this event. So it was interesting.
But wait, isn't it? Didn't I read? I sent it to you earlier. Was it Mayweather wants to fight somebody? Or he's
Logan Paul. No, Jake Paul. Sorry, I think Jake or Logan, one of the two.
He's calling out an ex Logan Paul. That's right. On the 20th of Feb.
Yeah,
is this actually happening? I think it is.
I don't think so. I can't imagine so, man.
Bants?
I can't imagine so. It has to be bants. Like look, Floyd Mayweather is 50-0 in professional boxing. These YouTube guys, they made a couple of videos for sure. Good, yeah, great. They had a couple of fights with some other YouTube stars. They haven't fought like real professional fighters. This is not happening.
It's not even a fight. It's not even a fight.
No. But look, man, I'm saying this as a complete just a speculator. There's a good chance that it might happen. Who knows? This year's been crazy. It's a crazy time these days. You know, it could happen, but I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
See.
I can't see it. I can't see it, man. I can't see it. Yeah. So look, okay, all right. Let's move on. Let's move on to something else. Yep.
What are we doing?
We'll go to the high street. The high street. I'd started my Christmas shopping. What about you?
I haven't. No. Forget the high street. It's all about the E Street.
The E Street. Or the A Street, the Amazon Street.
The Amazon Street. Yeah. You know, go up Prime Street.
Prime.
That's it.
You know, you get Prime for December and then cancel it before it charges you again.
A 30-day trial.
Yeah, exactly. But look, man, I mean, this year with the coronavirus, man, the high street, it's been taking a true beating. It's
been obliterated.
Yeah, and look, the internet was already, you know, giving it issues. But you know, it's almost as if like this COVID thing is I'm not sure if it's the final nail, but it is a big nail in the coffin, man. It's
a big nail. And I think the thing is, I think it's going to change the dynamics because there's high street, the likes of Debenhams, which, you know, there was already dead. It was only my nan going in there, and you know, my nan and her friends. But you know, I think the likes of like small local businesses, there's ample opportunity there because with all these people working from home now, everyone's working from home. No one's really moving around too much for now. You know, you got all these local coffee shops and little boutiques and store food markets that are closer to your home. You know, and you know, people can just, you know, as you work from home, you could just go up the road and support them, and they offer some good quality generally. Depends where you are, but in general, in terms of like the main high street, it's they're suffering. I mean, how could you not? No one's coming in your shop. No one's allowed. You know, no one's allowed out. You still got these overheads. You know, you still got to keep the lights on to some degree. Yeah, it's hard enough as it is, you know, on the high street. I mean, you know this, right? I had a vape shop for a couple of years, and that was a tricky one, you know. From just I noticed it myself. It's 2 years over the course of 2 years, and just the amount of people that were not coming in the shop, the amount of competition on the high street, with Tesco's selling and Sainsbury's and Pound Shop and all that kind of stuff. It's just a race to the bottom generally, unless you make like retail an experience in itself. But that's for that whole experience of, you know, maybe Hamleys or Selfridges. It's not quite. One, it's a different kind of market. It's not your typical high street that goes there. And two, that experience is just it's unique. It's not just, you won't get that. It's not like Topshop offers that experience or stuff like that. You know, it's you know, if you go to a commodity kind of retailer like Topshop, like H&M, you know, there's no real proper experience there that you're going to go out and it's a Saturday. It's a full on Saturday. So yeah, I feel for the high street. I don't know if it's going to come back. I mean, of course, it's going to come back. People need to buy stuff, but it's it's going to be a different place.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really quite interesting what you say about local businesses in this time being supported, because actually there has been a lot of show for local businesses. The issue is with the prices of leases and rents. It's like that most of these businesses need to be at full capacity in order to kind of turn any profit. And when you start limiting the amount of people that can come into your shop at any one time, then also you kind of start signing your own death warrant. So
Mm,
I'm not,
mm.
and I'm not sure how. Look, because look, landlords are in business as well. I think there's this idea that landlords are some terrible, bad people. It's their business too to have properties and lease them, and I think they depend on a certain amount of income as well to stay afloat. So
Mm, mm.
to then expect them to kind of lower their rent in order to kind of keep shops alive, they might be kind of compromising their own business if that's the case. So
Yeah.
it's a really tough sell. And when you've got the likes of Amazon, that you could order pretty much anything you want cheaper, and
Mm,
it will come to your
mm.
house. And if you decide to go off and get Amazon Prime, which is probably free, you could have movies on your TV. You can have all sorts. It's almost like
You got the full enchilada,
it's almost
extra toppings,
all of the toppings,
stuffed crust.
jalapenos. So so it's almost like, why wouldn't you? And and especially through this pandemic, you've got older people that may not have been so savvy with computers and that now, but they've had to get savvy in order to kind of maintain connection with their family members. And as
Hmm.
they get more savvy, then they be like, I'm just going to order my stuff on Amazon. And so, you mentioned that, the people that will end up in Debenham are the likes of your nan and her friends. But once your nan and her friends start getting pretty comprehensive in Zoom, they
Yeah,
start thinking, what's this Amazon stuff that everyone's talking about? And then they're like,
yeah,
this Debenhams is dead. Why am I going there? so,
that's it.
it's almost like the writing's on the wall. The writing's on the wall.
The writing's on the wall.
How do you think that potentially the high street could come back?
Um, it's a funny one, Like I was thinking about this the other day. Like since the Tesco's have kind of introduced the cashierless system, like how many less cashiers have they hired? You know, um, how has that affected their sort of workforce? Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? And their hiring needs, because it's so efficient. Tesco's Metro generally has 4 or 5, self checkouts, one person, and to begin with, those self checkouts were very annoying.
yeah,
They got it always. It was always wrong, always crashing.
yeah,
But now it's pretty efficient.
sure.
And so you have one person running up and down, backwards and forwards, trying to attend to them. When the light flashes red, and yeah, you don't need as many people. I think for the high street to bounce back, I don't know. I think there's got to be a lot of experiences and involved. Like, of course, people with high ticket stuff, you need to kind of go. People want to go and feel it, look at it, etc. So for example, TVs, you might want to go and look at it, or and see what does the quality is like. But then again, there's a lot of window shoppers, and there always has been. So
Yeah,
this is the fight. This is the challenge. And even these shops, sometimes they need to price match whatever's online.
yep,
So their margins are just non-existent or compressed.
yep,
Do you know what I mean? So I think there needs to be a whole different mindset for retailers. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like I think somewhere like, for example, Debenhams and Selfridges, where they had a lot of concessions within their big umbrella,
yeah,
and they're sharing the overheads, or essentially that to me makes sense, because you don't really, as a high street, have presence on a high street is expensive.
yep,
Um, so to share that cost with somebody makes sense, and And I think you see that with Tesco's. You've got different brands in Tesco's and all these other like supermarkets. So that can make sense, but again, that can't sustain for everywhere. You still got the small and medium businesses that are on the high street, and that they make a large part of our workforce and our sort of
Our economy.
business workforce,
Yeah.
our economy.
Yep.
So
Yep. I mean, I posed that question to you, but honestly, I posed it to you because, hey, man, don't pose that question to me. I have no answers. I'd say, look, go to Amazon, just let those guys die quickly. Unfortunately.
Oh wow!
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I sometimes when I see the writing on the wall, I read it aloud. So
read it aloud and say it 10 times.
And look, maybe the high street, the dynamic of the high street will change in the sense that people always going to need to eat. There are trends that happen amongst us that are outside of fashion. So coffee, let's say, so the emergence of coffee shops and kind of nice independent restaurants. I know the hospitality sector has been hit ridiculously this year, but ultimately people still want to go out and eat. Like this year, so many people have been cooped up in their house. Every time the week of the lockdown ending, people are out. They're in the restaurants. You'll struggle to get a table, especially somewhere here like London, like a metropolis.
Yeah,
you're going to struggle to get a table. So you might end up seeing the high street as less shops, more restaurants, and kind of more kind of coffee shop like establishments. So
yeah, that makes sense actually. Yeah. And I think you generally see that as well. Like literally, I think, for example, a coffee shop is like, it feels like it's the easiest business to set up and the one that everyone you just see popping up. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And they seem to have a fairly good success because coffee is addictive and good coffee is great. So
the margins are probably pretty good.
The margins are good. You've got to sell a lot of volume, but yeah, I think you're right in that respect. I think there's always going to be demand for food. It's something that Amazon can't replace.
Yep.
Of course, you'll have the likes of Deliveroo and Uber Eats, but again, who wants to eat inside all the time, especially when you're locked on lockdown or what have you. So food and experience, I think that's a good combination. I think that's what people want to go out for or would go out for even more and more.
Yeah.
Good point.
And some of those restaurants that we may have frequented in our time on Earth, the kind of big ticket restaurants.
Not the Golden Arches.
No, not the Golden Arches. That's
do that.
No, that's
blasphemy.
That's dead, bro.
We don't do that.
We can't do that. Even if we do that, we don't talk about that.
Never.
But like the bigger establishments, like the Quaglinos and the Ivies, you never know. Like those the value of that might increase in terms of people want to if they've been stuck inside all year, they might actually want to go for a real slap up meal and they don't mind spending the cash. It's only furlough money anyway. So
furlough money's gone.
No, furlough's till March, mate.
True.
So yeah, exactly. So yeah, you might even. I think something about those. I don't think you'll see a lot more of those kind of like upper end restaurants pop up. I don't think you'll see that because in order for them to charge a ton of money, they have to remain quite limited. There's not many of them can be around, but I can see those places getting booked out as well. So I mean, it's just one guy's look at what's happening.
But I do think there's a lot of pent up demand in general for people to buy stuff and get out and go for a meal, go for a drink, etc. So the time when things do start coming back to normal, as normal can be, there's a lot of money in people's pockets that no one's gone on holiday. Maybe they've spent it on home improvements, but they want to go out and they want to, enjoy company, etc. So I do think that 2021 could be a good year for the high street and retailers if people are allowed out, and furlough kind of stops and etc. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe.
we'll
All
see.
right. And moving on to something that is of high interest, especially now,
Yes,
bro.
vaccine.
Bitcoin.
Oh right.
No. Forget the vaccine. Forget the vaccine.
Okay.
Forget the vaccine. Vaccine. Who cares about the vaccine? This is Bitcoin, bro.
Okay.
It's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is back.
It's back.
Bitcoin seems to be back, but I'm not sure if the attention to the whole market is back.
No.
Well, look, man. Do you remember 2017 when Bitcoin was doing all of this, and we kind of got in at the upper end?
That was my introduction.
That was my introduction too.
Yeah.
And like it was in the news. You'd see articles. Well, you'd see news presenters on Fox News trashing it. Complete FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. For anyone who doesn't know,
lots of FUD.
So much FUD, but even though there was FUD, it was mainstream FUD. So it was out there in the news. People were talking about Bitcoin. It's terrible. Drug dealers use it, and it was getting a ton of traction. Now this time around, Bitcoin's at similar levels. Back around the kind of $20,000 mark. Yeah, it's not in the mainstream.
It's in the mainstream.
Is that?
It's in the mainstream.
No,
I would argue it is, but it's not getting that same negative press that
the sentiment.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe. I mean, I can't lie. I can't lie. One of my aunties, she came to me not long ago, and she said, "Oh, I heard about the Bitcoin you was talking about before. Should I get into some?" So already that actually maybe people are talking. Your auntie's never invested in a stock in her life. So when she starts talking about Bitcoin, you already know something's up. Sounds not quite right.
Sounds not quite right. Everyone's looking for that that moon, that Lambo.
The moon, the Lambos, the life that all of cryptocurrency
promises.
It promises you that you're going to actually drive Lamborghinis for the rest of your life, and you're going to live on the moon, the actual moon. You're just going to buy a rocket and go up there.
That's it.
Because your bag of cryptocurrency is going to buy that. But hey, anyone who's been in it long enough, longer than me, longer than yourself, knows actually maybe it doesn't exactly work that way.
Although no,
but
if people have been in it longer than us, then they might have been. They saw it in Bitcoin $100.
But look, they might have sold. They might have sold.
Strong hands. Hodl.
Look, some of them did that, but some of them sold, and some of them actually got wrecked, even though Bitcoin was nowhere near where it is now because the market's so volatile.
It's weak hands.
So
it's a game for strong hands.
It's a game for strong hands. What about your hands? How strong are they, mate?
No. I'm out of the game. I'm out of the game. But I do remember, right, one thing vividly was quite interesting is 2017, the hype was so real. And people were selling their houses, and this was getting reported. So this is, the hype, part of the hype. But people were selling their houses, going on, moving into caravans. You had interviews of, I think it was like a Dutch family, 2 children, and mum and dad. And this man had so much conviction that Bitcoin is the one. It's he sold everything and was going traveling or some road trip or something, and put everything else in Bitcoin. And I don't think I'm quite seeing that now. I think everyone's kind of sobered up, 2 years later, and people have seen the capitulation that has gone through. And I think it feels it's different. Like it's different this time. It could be it's always going to be rocky, but I think there's a lot of other factors that are and big boys that are saying, hey, maybe we should be looking at this. Maybe Bitcoin is something to to hold and to reckon with.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you're right. I think a lot of the financial institutions are starting to realize that actually, maybe this thing isn't going away, and if we embrace it rather than try to go against the tide, maybe we can kind of make something out of this. So it seems as if maybe the attitude to it, like you mentioned, is a little more optimistic than before from big institutions. Saying that, today I got a message
Okay.
from one group that I'm involved in, and actually from January the 1st, 2021, crypto is being banned on CFDs. So I don't even know what CFD stands for. Some type of
Contract for
derivative.
difference.
I can't remember. There you go. So you won't be able to trade bitcoins on CFDs anymore. So I use eToro because I trade. I use eToro, and what you can do, you can open positions on Bitcoin and many cryptocurrencies, but you actually own the asset. And if you want to trade the CFD,
What does owning the asset
leverage
mean?
it. But well, this is this conceptually, it's a tough one. But since 2017, the FCA have done the most to try and kind of like get people to be accountable for their cryptocurrency so that they can get taxed. So I think that's what owning the asset means. It's like now taxable for you. So I think that some of the platforms like eToro and some of the plus 500s, whatever, they've actually fallen in line and been like, well, we can't just sell CFDs on this. We're gonna have to get in line and start selling this asset. So
I think also another part of it, right, was there's a lot of speculation in this market, and so I think they're trying to curtail speculate, like these speculative products, which are like these contract for differences, which are highly speculative, highly leveraged. And when I think the underlying asset is the Bitcoin, but if you have this contract for difference, even I think eToro was for time, I don't know how it is now, but even if you bought Bitcoin, you can't transfer it out of eToro. So therefore, there isn't a real asset as such, or crypto asset that you own, purely because it can only be within the eToro system ecosystem. So it's like, does it actually exist, or is eToro just kind of hedging that position?
Well, I can add to that because actually now, since 2018, actually, eToro has its own wallet. So actually, you can transfer your cryptocurrencies to the eToro wallet, in which you can then transfer out into Coinbase or Binance, or
So now they're
so
they're
you
legit
can.
now. They weren't legit
So
before.
now you can. Yeah. No, not before. You were totally right about before. Totally right. But now is I don't know if legit is the right word, but you could say that it's an asset that you own and have some type of power over. Whereas before it's like it's pretty. It was more fugazi than it currently is, which is still pretty fugazi.
You just send, and then you're waiting for this hash, and then it doesn't appear.
Oh, mate, do you know the kind of stress people go through
Airdrops
with cryptocurrency? With airdrops, you get scammed, and you lose half a Bitcoin because it got scammed, or you send it to the wrong wallet address, and before you know it gets lost in the sky. Stress. But if you want a Lambo, maybe you got to go and buy some Bitcoin.
I don't know. This is not financial advice.
This ain't financial advice. Investments go up as well as down.
Historical capitulation is no view.
We've all felt it. We all know what it is.
Yeah.
We all know what it is. Actually, funnily enough,
cold sweat.
Right. Funnily enough, I had a friend, get into this stuff, and this stuff is risky. look, man. I would call myself some type of novice investor, if anything.
No, I think you're being quite.
Um,
You're rating yourself quite highly there.
racist. But look, even as a complete novice, there are some things I want to know before I decide to get myself into anything. Even
Mm,
if I'm gonna buy a phone, I want to know that this phone's gonna work.
yeah,
Um, anyway, so
it's
I
reasonable.
had this mate. Yeah, novice stuff. I had this mate, and he kind of got into it and was like, "Yeah, how about we I'm gonna buy some coin, whatever it was, some shit coin, and he's bought into it, and before you know it, he's capitulated. And I've asked him, what was your entry point, and he was like, oh, I just bought it when I felt like buying it, and I was like, okay, so what was your exit point? And he was like, I just wanted it to double up and then I'll get out. I was like, okay, has it ever doubled up before? And he was like, I've not even looked at a chart. I'm just thinking, so,
Oh wow.
so, did you have any idea what you was doing before you decided to let go of your hard-earned cash, real money that you could trade for food?
And pay the
Did
rent.
you think about it and pay rent? Did you think about it before you decided to get involved into this stuff?
Yeah,
And the answer roundabout. He wasn't too forthcoming with the no,
yeah,
but the
yeah.
answer was no. And and I think actually
He's not alone.
cryptocurrency. No, yeah, cryptocurrency as a market in general feeds off these characters.
Yeah.
It feeds off people that actually they see something do 100% in a day, or they see Bitcoin that was 10 years ago was 0.01 pence or whatever the hell it was,
Mm,
and now it's $20,000, and they think, oh man, look at this. I don't know. Uh, just make up a name for a coin.
mm.
Uh, Kaleidospoke
Kaleidocoi.
coin. Yeah. Kaleidocoin. Yeah. Look at this Kaleidocoin. It's done 100% today. That definitely means it's going to do 1,000% tomorrow.
Must do. Must do.
It has to. Why? Yeah, of course it's going to. Come on. It's the next Bitcoin. It's going to be $20,000 within a month, and the market just sucks people like that. And
Yeah.
it actually keeps the vast majority of the market alive.
It props the
So
market up.
100%,
But the
100%,
thing is
100%.
with crypto, there's this one, it's emotional, two, it's complicated. And three, it's just like there's so much manipulation, like pump and dumps, these whales, all these groups. It's a cowboy, it's a cowboy playground, really. But there's money to be made because the movements are so, they're so volatile. There's like these swings, as you say, some of these coins will move 100% in 2 days, and if you just buy at the right time out of sheer luck and chance, you could be up and you think you're the bloody Warren Buffett of cryptocurrency. So it's exciting. It's almost addictive. It's got a lot of opportunity. I'll be interested to see where it goes in the next 20 years, 50 years out. That's I think the kind of view that that interests me. But apart from that,
Wait a sec.
go on.
I'm going to stop you. Did you say 50 years?
Yeah, I'll
What
be
makes you think you're going to be here, mate?
I'll be 80 years. I'll be 80 years old. So I'll be in my 80s. I'll be down with the kids with my Bitcoin in my pocket.
Mate, you'll be in a home somewhere.
Nah,
One of your kids would have put you in a home and put you out of your misery, mate. Come on. What do you think is going on? You'll be following the latest Bitcoin at 88 years old.
I'll be doing half marathons. I'll be doing 100 pull-ups a day. Like, don't worry about me.
All right, fine. We all got a dream.
I'll visit you in the home. Yeah, that's fine. If that's where you'll be.
Look, man. Look. My son is young at the moment, but when he gets of age, I'll tell him, look, son, when I get older, I don't want you to worry and stress about me. Just find a lovely home for me in Cancun, and just stick me there. Don't worry about me. You don't have to call me. I'll be fine. just stick me there. I'm good. I'm all right. I'm great. I'm great. That's the best thing you could do for me.
Cancun, yeah? Okay.
Just Cancun. Just stick me there. Stick me there. Let me go for a walk in the sun and find a lovely 75-year-old lovely Mexican lady that wants to do some half salsa with me in a wheelchair. Just that's the way I want to. That's the way I want to go out. I don't want to be looking at Bitcoin charts.
I'll be refreshing my Coinbase at 83. I'll be refreshing my Coinbase, mate. Saying, "Are we moon yet?"
Are we moon? Are you saying that you're gonna actually wait until 85 to get that Lambo and then attempt to drive it at 85?
Yeah, you're damn right.
Well, again, you've got a dream, man.
Got to live, man. Got to live.
Look, man. Look. Without a dream, it doesn't make sense.
What's the point? What's the point?
What's the point? What's the point? What's the point, man? What's the point?
But so
look.
Go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, so you're in the market. You're holding that Bitcoin.
I'm in the market, man. You know me. I'm after that one Bitcoin. Once I got that one Bitcoin, I'll probably still be in the market. But but it's interesting, and stocks are interesting as well.
Yeah.
All investments. I'm interested in anything that has some type of opportunity where
to increase your wealth.
I can get rich and buy a Ferrari and drive off into the sunset.
In Cancun.
In Cancun, with my 75-year-old Maria. We'll drive together, and I'll drive and she'll sit there, and I'll feed her food intravenously, and we'll go off and do some salsa and stuff.
Wow, sounds like a dream.
It is the dream.
Such a lucky guy. Such a lucky guy. You got it so right.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of time between now and then, right? Like,
I've got a lot to learn from you.
Bitcoin could go down to 1p, and then there is no Maria, there is no Cancun, there is no driving off into the sunset. It's literally living in Thamesmead.
Oh no!
Or Woolwich,
Woolwich is actually upmarket these days. So
Woolwich, wait. But
it's not Cancun. It's not quite Cancun. But
it's not Cancun. But look, talking about Woolwich, right? There's two Woolwich. There's two Woolwiches. There's Woolwich Arsenal. And then there's Woolwich, and Woolwich Arsenal, of course, upmarket. Royal Arsenal, upmarket. Nice, great. You live there, it's great, Woolwich Common, you go live on Woolwich Common. I'll tell you now, I know people from Woolwich Common. They don't live in Woolwich Common anymore. All they wanted to do was get out of Woolwich Common. And trust me, you don't want to go to Woolwich Common.
All right, fine. So you've got to be quite specific about Woolwich, yeah. But
probably specific about Woolwich, yeah.
But everywhere has its good and bad side. So
sure,
swings and roundabouts.
Sure, I bet Cancun don't.
All right.
Yeah. So look, man. So look. Here we are. Look, we've done 50 minutes, and how are you feeling about episode 1?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I'm looking forward to counting down the episodes. I want to do like a 2020 review. Like what?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one to do before the year's out. But I feel great. I think I hope people have enjoyed this, and it's hopefully it gets better over time, like fine wine, And yeah.
Look, man, I'd like to echo the same sentiment. I mean, you had this idea because you are an ideas factory.
I love ideas.
And you're an ideas guy. And we go for our runs every day, or when it rains, you don't want to come, but whatever.
Who likes to run in the rain? Please tell me.
I like running in the rain. It's great. It wakes you up. It keeps you alive. But anyway, and we go for our runs. And, you floated the idea about a podcast, and I for me, it takes a while for me to be like, yeah, you know, and actually, this is a good one, you know, and I think this episode's gone well. I'd like to do more, and you know, maybe some of these conversations might last longer. It felt like it flew by for me, you know.
It does,
Yeah,
especially when you're
and
talking as much as you do.
yeah. All right, mate.
Shots
All right,
fired.
calm down.
No, joking.
Calm down, mate. You know we got to go running tomorrow.
I thought that was off. Where did they off?
What do you mean? Oh, it's probably raining. You can't come, can you?
I'll check the weather.
Yeah, look at the weather. Go ahead. Well done.
It looks like it's all right. Yeah, it's clear. All right, man tomorrow.
Well, look. For episode 1 of Kaleidospoke, you know, this is me. I don't have a stage name. My name's just Aaron.
No name?
I'm just Aaron.
Wow.
No name. I don't need one. My mum gave me one. It's called Aaron. You know. So this is me. I'm Aaron. I'm signing out, and you know, man like
Richie Rich.
RTP can sign out. Richie Rich. He's out, and you know, episode 2 coming your way.
That's it. All right. I'll catch you later, guys.